Hello, Bante. Hello, Visakha. So, we are live. Not only are we live on YouTube, but supposedly we are also live on Facebook and Twitch. Let's see if that's the case. Let's see if that's the case. Let's see if that's the case. All right. Yeah, looks like we're live on Twitch. Very good. Now, are we live on Facebook? Kind of. We are live on YouTube. That's good. Hello, Christine. Well, you're getting some feedback because you're probably hearing me checking the other channels and then it going through my mic. You shouldn't have feedback now. Do you still have feedback? Hello, Andrew. So for those of you on YouTube, is everything basically normal? See, because I'm using a live stream service now, so I can stream to multiple places. So right now, supposedly, this is live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And so I see it kind of all combined on this stream service. I'm not looking at YouTube. So I can do things like this. I can put people's questions on the screen. I can do things like share my screen. Once I get used to this, I can, when we read a sutta, I can put it on the screen, make it easier, that kind of stuff. All right. So we'll wait for people to come in before we get started, and to see how this this actually works out. I'll be able to see if people type in Facebook chat, and I assume also in Twitch. It all kind of feeds into this one screen that I'm on. All right. Hello, John and Audrey. Hello, Dallas. So it also tells me, oh, okay. So it shows me that I have 8 people on YouTube watching, 1 person on Twitch. Now that's interesting. I was not expecting to have anybody watching on Twitch, and 0 people on Facebook. Very interesting. All right. Oh, Audrey's on Twitch. Audrey, I would not have expected you to to be on Twitch. Very interesting. Hello, Jose. Welcome. Sindhu, welcome. Oh, now 1 person's on Facebook. Very interesting. Yeah, Douse, I'm on Twitch. I'm competing with the gamers. Well, who knows? I might blow up. Doubtful. But yeah, I can stream to 3 different places. I could also, hello, Jose's mother. I could also have other people join in. I could have up to like 5 or 6 people. Like if I wanted to have other monastics join me, I could have other monastics come and join me. And so we would all be like on our screens and you could see be interesting. Now, I think I'm going to test something. I am going to test maybe sharing screen. And let's see how that works. Let me see. Let me see if I can do something here. Share. Oh, share. Share screen. Share screen. Ah. Oh, wow. This is nice. Do you see my Mahasatipatthana PowerPoint? Oh, yes, you do, don't you? Do you see it? See, I can't see because the Mahasatipatthana PowerPoint is in my face. But I see that when I turn it off. So did you guys see that when I shared the screen? Hello, Yankee Apple. Welcome. But you did see me. You did see my PowerPoint come up, at least briefly. Yes. Awesome. This is really cool. All right. Enough geeking out about the new stream service. Let's actually get started. We have we've waited enough time for people to come in. All right. So let's do our chanting. See, I could even share the chant. I'll do that another time, though. For now, we'll just. Let's chant Baddhikarata. That's going to be page 91 on the Maggaseka chanting book. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Atitang navagameya napatikankeya nagatang. Yadatitang pahinang tang apattancha agnagatang. Pachupannang chayodamang tatta tatta vipassati. Asamhirang asankupang tang vidda manubruhaye. Ajeva kitchang atapang kojanya maranang suve nahi sno sangarang tena mahasenena machuna. Evang viharang ataping ahoratang atanditang. Tangve badde karatoti santo achikate muni. All right, now the English. A single excellent night's discourse. Let not a person revive the past, or on the future build his hopes. For the past has been left behind, and the future has not been reached. Instead, with insight, let him see each presently arisen state. Let him know that and be sure of it, invincibly, unshakably. Today the effort must be made. Tomorrow death may come, who knows? No bargain with mortality can keep him and his hordes away. But one who dwells thus ardently, relentlessly, by day, by night, it is he the peaceful sage has said, who has had a single excellent night. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Hello, Briar Rose. Good to see you. So this is interesting. So let's see. Who's on Facebook? If somebody's on Facebook, send me a type in your chat, please. Because on Twitch, it actually shows the person's name. Okay, nobody's on Facebook. So then, but when I do I'm using the same system, the same streaming service that Empty Cloud uses. Right? So, because it's so simple, it's so easy. And it's awesome. The functionality is amazing. And so when I do the streams for Empty Cloud, it'll just say Facebook user, so you can't see who it is. But I can see on Twitch Amelia Rose, which makes it a lot easier to be able to see who is typing. All right. Hello, Burke. Welcome. Burke, you're not on Facebook. You're on YouTube. At least that's what it's telling me. All right. So, friends, let's get started. Welcome, friends. It's a Monday night, so it is another Dhammapalooza, a festival of Dhamma, 2 hours. We do a variety of activities related to Dhamma. We did some chanting. Later on, we'll do some meditation. And in between, well, that's up to you guys. This is a community event. It's community coming together. Now, from 3 separate places, although I don't think you can see each other if you're on a different one, unfortunately. But I can see you at least. And so we come together to chat with each other in the chat, to talk to each other, say hello to Dhamma friends, and also to listen to and share Dhamma. So how things will go. Actually, today is the Aposita. So what I would like to do is do what we normally do at 5 o'clock on the Aposita in the Maggaseka Discord community, and that is go over an aspect of the Noble Eightfold Path, and then we discuss about how our successes and failures in doing practicing, putting into practice that part of the Noble Eightfold Path. So right now, what I'm going to do is introduce the aspect of the Noble Eightfold Path. And I believe we are on right mindfulness, if I'm not mistaken. So right mindfulness will be the topic. Hello, Sean. Welcome. Right mindfulness will be the topic. And also, so while I'm giving this instructions, you can listen. But also, if you have a question that you'd like me to answer, we can also do that as well. So you can put your questions in the chat. So we'll do Samma Sati. Samma Sati is simply Satipatthana, the four foundations of mindfulness. One abides contemplating an aspect of the body, or a body in the body, or a body among the bodies, depending on your translation. Diligent, ardent, resolute, abandoning greed and hatred for the world, right? That's the first one. One abides contemplating feeling and feelings. Diligent, ardent, resolute. Having abandoned, I think, no, it's not greed and hatred. Having abandoned, essentially, desire and sadness for the world. One abides contemplating an aspect of the mind. One abides contemplating an aspect of Dhammas, principles. So this is Sammasati. This is very, very, very important practice of the Buddha. The Buddha says in Satipatthana Sutta that this is the direct path, or the only path, the one path, for the purification of beings, for the overcoming of sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair, for the attaining of the true goal, Nibbana. So this is a very, very important aspect of the path. This is the part of the path where we practice trying to be mindful and aware in all of our activities. No matter what we're doing, as long as we're awake, as long as we're conscious, we can observe what's going on with our body. We can contemplate the nature of this body. We can also observe what's going on with sensations, feeling. Vedana, which is actually the topic for a Friday morning on Empty Cloud. I'm going to be doing that stream, the whole hour on Vedana. Vedana is about pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral feelings of the body and the mind. Observing sensations that arise, like pains or itches, or even strong emotions. Chitta is observing the mind, understanding the state, the tone of the mind. It'll say, understanding a mind with greed as a mind with greed, a mind without greed as a mind without greed. Same with aversion. Same with delusion. An exalted mind and an unexalted mind. An immeasurable mind and an unmeasurable mind. An energetic mind and a tired mind. A sloth mind. To understand all of these various states, all of these various aspects of the mind, and even the thoughts and impulses that arise in the mind. And then the fourth Satipatthana is Dhammas, principles. These are a list of principles that the Buddha gives us to reflect on and to investigate. Like 5 hindrances, the 5 aggregates, the 4 noble truths, the 6 senses, the 7 factors of awakening. And all of these frameworks that the Buddha has given us. And so when you go about your day, the idea is to the way I look at Satipatthana, it's like you're carrying a toolbox with you, and there's many different meditations, contemplations, practices in that toolbox. And as you're going throughout your day, you can use all those different tools when different situations arise. Situation arises, oh, I practice parts of the body. Situation arises, oh, I practice understanding the six senses. Or you could even just observe that. You can say, I think I'm going to focus today on the six senses and how they interact with the world and how I respond to things, contact with experiences through my senses. Oh, Visaka, really? I didn't see an email. Trying to join the Magaseka group. Um, so this is what we are doing for Satipatthana, Sammasati. This is a part of the Noble Eightfold Path that is an active engagement in investigating and understanding your mind and body and how you interact with the world. So what I'll do now is open it up to you guys. If you'd like to share any stories or any anecdotes from your practicing, trying to put Satipatthana into practice in the world, any successes that you might have had, any struggles for on particular things that you might have, you can put that in the chat and we can discuss it. Or if you have any questions regarding Satipatthana, we can discuss that. We can answer those as well. So if you'd like to share, then please do put it in the chat. And if you have any questions, then please, you can ask a question about practicing Satipatthana. Elaine, I think we'll definitely make sure that you get that you get into our Discord community. Although I don't think I saw an email. There might be some kind of miscommunication. We'll see. Send it to my personal email. You guys get my chat? What I typed in? All right. I see it posted to YouTube and it posted to Twitch. Doesn't show that it posted to Facebook. I wonder if it's even working on Facebook. All right. All right. Okay, it does stream. It does seem to be streaming to Facebook. There's a bit of a delay, but it works. So nobody has anything to share about practicing Satipatthana, huh? Or even any questions? Or is just there's some kind of error going on with the new streaming thing? All right. Elaine says, can you see that this has come up on the screen? I found that paying attention to my body position has helped me greatly with respect to recovering from surgery. Not sure the Buddha intended it for that, but it sure has been helpful. Yeah, that's exactly, Satipatthana works great whether you're healthy or you're sick. A lot of times what happens is if you're in a lot of great pain and you're not in a very comfortable situation, if you're focusing if you're practicing Satipatthana and you're kind of in the Thai way of it, becoming the observer, right? This is not like some kind of other thing, but what you're doing is you're like when you go from the person who is suffering, oh, this is me suffering to the pain, to being the scientist looking through the microscope at your problem. Right? When you are investigating what is happening, actually you become a little detached from it and you don't suffer from it as much. It's very interesting. This also allows you to see how you actually add to your suffering. You actually make the pain worse with your mind. And when that kind of is cut out and you're just investigating, it's actually not as bad. So yeah, it's not a surprise to me, Elaine, that would have been very, very beneficial and helpful for you to in recovering from your surgery. Hello, PGS. P. Gurgle Segrillo. What do you think is best way for me to respond to you? Is PGS okay, or do you want me to? You tell me what's the easiest thing to call you, and that's what I'll remember. I could just say P, like I'm Bante J. I don't know, but let's see. Christine has a question. Can you say anything about patient endurance? So yeah, patient endurance is the best meditation. That's what the Buddha says. Kanti paramang tapotittika. Patient endurance is the highest practice. The highest practice. This is something that the Buddha talks about often. The Buddha says that my disciples endure hot and cold, gadflies and insults. Right, talking about monastics enduring, harsh conditions. And Buddha encourages and praises that, to be able to have patience in enduring hard experiences. This is also important, like when you're meditating, you're practicing Satipatthana, you need to develop that patient endurance so you can stick with it and investigate it for as long as possible. When I do a guided meditation, maybe we'll do the guided meditation today. Maybe we'll do this. I'll teach that if there's a pain or an itch that it's taking you away from the breath, you dive right into that. And then you really, really focus on that and you investigate that. And then you try to stay with it for as long as possible until you just can't endure the pain anymore or the itch. You just try to endure it as long as possible, to hold out, to investigate. Oftentimes, the most insight is going to be in those periods where you're in the most suffering. You just endure a little bit. And then when it's too much, when your body and your mind have had enough, then you say, okay, now it's time to let go. There is such a thing as pushing too hard. I've done it. I've hurt my body temporarily from trying to force myself into positions and being, I'm going to endure this and things like that. Endurance is good, but you also have to take it slow in the beginning until you have the wisdom to know when to endure and when to stop. It's very important. Patient endurance is important. Develop being able to endure things longer and longer and longer. And the more you practice, the more you follow the path, the more insight you develop, then you can more easily endure things longer and longer. Julie has a question. It's gonna take me a while to keep remembering these things to put this on the screen because this is so new. Even during the Empty Cloud live streams I've been doing this past week, I'll just read the question and forget that I can put it on the screen. Sometimes I get random images in my mind while I'm doing mindfulness meditation. It happens while I'm doing touching points. These images seem mundane. Just double checking to see if there's another. Okay, so this is it. Yeah, sometimes that happens. That's okay. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. You know, there lots of times when you're meditating, you're practicing, things just happen in the mind. You know, I wouldn't get too attached to those things. What you can do is investigate, see if you can see if those images are coming up. Like maybe you're related to it, you're investigating a certain aspect of the body, a certain thing, and are the images related to that or not? Or are they just kind of seemingly random things just popping up in your mind? Investigate that. You know, see if that's the case. If not, if they just seem to be kind of random things flowing in and flowing out, then don't get too attached to them. Just let them go. You know, things will arise in your mind while you're meditating, and if you don't give them any energy, if you don't attach to them, you just let them be, then they'll just flow through your mind. Like you can get into deep states of meditation, of samadhi, where you're so content and so peaceful and so joyful to just stay with the breath, and just things are just floating through your mind and they hold no sway over you. They just arise and then they cease, and other things arise and then they cease. I can remember sometimes being in deep meditation and there's like a TV going on in the bottom corner of my awareness, and it's just like shows happening, just random shows. I can't even nothing like really even specific to real life. It's just like things are playing out in my mind, and I'm aware that they're there as I'm following the breath. But again, they have no attention over me. They have no sway over me. I'm just following the breath. So all these kind of things will arise in your mind, and you know, you can investigate them, try to find their origin and things like that. But mostly they're just things arising, nothing to get too excited about or attached to. Just let them be, let them go. All right, John asks, as I investigate the state of my mind and find some trace of aversion, how do I work on removing that? Politics, news often bring up that aversion, and then I try metta and dispassion. Any other advice? So what I would say is just be careful of being of building aversion to your aversion. Right? Part of the practice is just accepting and understanding that this is normal. Especially when you're watching the news and seeing things about politics. That's just instantly brings up all kinds of aversion. That's why in polite society, up until very recently, things have changed. But polite society for a long, long time, probably hundreds of years, was when around friends and family or in social gatherings, don't talk about politics and religion, right? It's because these can be very divisive, very very what would you call sakayaditi, very identity view, right? You're very attached to these views, and then somebody you meet, and then they have a different view, and they say your view is horrible, and you say no, 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 your view is horrible, and then it just goes on from there, right? So this is an important thing to understand, um, that this is normal. So the best thing to do is to think about think in terms of dependent origination. Think about what you do that creates the causes and conditions that lead up to those aversive mind states. And is there anything that you can change that does that? Can you watch, instead of maybe you watch a half hour of politics and news, can you watch 10 minutes of politics and news? Right? Or can you just can you say, today I'm not going to watch this stuff. If anything major, if the world's about to end, somebody will tell me, or I'll see it on Facebook or something like that. Right? But for now, I think I'm going to take a break from this. Let my mind recuperate a little bit. The thing about metta, like Bhante Ji always said, you can't practice metta when somebody is coming at you with a baseball bat. And this means like when your mind is in the aversion, in the hatred, a lot of times metta is not strong enough to just totally overcome that, and then it just goes away. That's not really how it works. So in many ways, that metta is more, how shall I say, metta is more preventative than a first aid in many aspects. So you want to practice metta a lot before. And then also, so say you're watching the news and you're really, really, really into, like, I'm of this party, I'm of this group. And when I hear about the other group, I get agitated. Right? When that happens, you reflect. Well, this other group, these people are not that much different than me. I live in the same country as them. You can even do this with people in other countries. You reflect, yeah. These human beings on the other side of the planet, they're not much different than me. Yeah, the culture may be a little different and everything, but the wiring underneath is the same. The desires are the same. So it's in a way of kind of like trying to break through the mechanisms, the us versus them, the in-group mechanisms that kind of will bring up this aversion. Right? It's satipatthana. Satipatthana will help you to, when these things arise, to have a little bit of a distance. I say, oh, this stuff is arising in my mind, and my mind's very unpleasant right now. What can I do? I can apply these techniques. I can apply these tools. Right? The side that you're on and the news will say, that's the enemy. They're just evil. There's nothing good about them. They're just all evil. Because they want you. Right? They want you. You watch the news about what's going on in, like, Ukraine and Russia, and the news says everything Russian, evil. If you even think about saying anything positive about anything Russian, you work for the Russians, right? Everything Ukraine, good. If you think anything bad about Ukraine, you're evil, right? You see that in the news. You see that like in the social media. Is that really right? Is it? After 9/11, America is great. Iraqi people, Saddam, evil. We're going to go there and topple Saddam. Was Saddam evil? Probably, yeah. Actually, yeah. Is it any better for them now? After we did our thing for 20 years in Afghanistan and Iraq, right? So all of these things, it helps to try to make sure that you go against easy thinking. Go against, if somebody is trying to minimize somebody to you or trying to force them into one peg, that's a sign that you practice. No. This is a person just like me, right? How many times I talk about when I worked for Child Protective Services and I sat across leaders of gangs. I sat across people who, sexually assaulted their kids, their grandkids, other people's kids, right? And of course, the thing is that people think, oh, they're. But no, I said, you know what? They're human beings. Maybe they've done really bad things, but no person is the sum of the worst thing they've ever done. So I'm going to treat them like human beings first, and I'm going to talk to them. And the way I dealt with people, I would get more information out of people than my coworkers who would try to come in like all, like, there's Child Protective Service workers, but they're acting like they're like good cop, bad cop, right? I would get more information because I treated people like people. So when you see the news and politics and this and this and this and this, don't let them. Watch your mind, how it will go down these tracks that people want you to go. And then when everybody in the society is also repeating that, if you even have a nuanced thought and people don't like that at all, right? You say, no. You know what? I'm not going to join this mob. I'm not going to join this mob. Let me remain mindful. Let me not fall into easy us versus them kind of thinking. Let me engage with the basis of metta and understanding. And let me also remember, I've told many of you, I was in politics, literally in politics. I never ran, but I was kind of a party boss. And the party bosses really are the ones that have the power. The people who run, even presidents, they're kind of, they're not the ones who really have the power, just to tell you. But, and so I used to watch because I knew, like, the news media, every news media has a bias. So I would watch CNN, Fox, MSNBC, and then later I added Al Jazeera and BBC, right? And so you'd see like all the different perspectives, and being able to do that, just to really see and try to understand the different perspectives of what's happening, that allows you to be not what, and they call in politics, a useful idiot. If you watch the news and the news says, and then you go, like that, you're a useful idiot. They can get you to do whatever they want you to do. And then you have no metta. You have no wisdom. You're just a useful idiot. just going by whatever the propaganda of your country and or your side wants you to follow. So when you do that, when you allow yourself not to get wrapped up in that, you have that dispassion, as you say. Then I try metta and dispassion. You can have metta. Oh man, what a mess this world is. What a mess these politics is. Let me just have metta. Let me just calm my mind. Just realize samsara sucks. So let me become a monk and try to get out of it. No, but this is what I can give to you in terms of advice for that. All right. All right. Sanchez has a good comment. I recently tried to observe my pain rather than it just complaining about it in my mind. I tried to feel where it was located and immediately felt not part of me. It felt not mine. There you go. Very good. Let me take this off the screen here. That's exactly the point. When you investigate, you become the investigator. You distance yourself from the experience. You're experiencing it and you're investigating it at the same time. You're not wrapped up in it. Elaine says, yeah, that's true. It's almost like stepping out of a burning building and watching the fire. Exactly. Yeah, that's another good simile. Very good, guys. Very good today. All right. Maybe as opposed to being inside of it and being burnt to a crisp. Yeah. Hello, Verdura One. Welcome. PGS has a question. Oh, wait, no. I think Sanchez maybe had. No. Oh, was it Elaine here? All right. Here, let's see. As for sluggish mind, I have been splashing cold water on my face, and then, is there anything else you could suggest? Yeah, you could. The Buddha gives a variety of things, like kind of envisioning bright lights, uh, tugging on your ears, like kind of giving yourself a little bit of a pain, doing deep breaths, maybe even holding your breath, like breathing in deep. When that happens, actually, you kind of feel like your mind, because your mind is like dying, can't breathe. So it gives you this kind of, this awareness. Um, you could also do a like get up and you can do some standing meditation for a while. You can do some walking meditation for a while. You can make sure that you have enough sleep the night before. The Buddha is talking to Mahamoggallana, who's nodding off, and he's giving him these advice, and he says, "And if a worst comes to worst, take a nap." So the Buddha is saying, "Yeah, take a nap. It's okay. The best thing to do is make sure you have enough sleep. Then after that, it's a variety of things you can do." All right, PGS. Dear Bhante, could you please share some words on skillfully dealing with pain during longer sitting meditations? Number one, take time before you start going into mindfulness of breathing. Take time, 10 minutes, maybe 15, doing a body scan, going through the body, adjusting. This is you've been coming to my things a few times, so you've maybe experienced this. Like, this is what I would do, because I was trying for so many years to try to find a posture that I could actually sit for at least even a half hour in some kind of comfort. And doing so, I'd be able to, I'm practicing lots of satipatthana, investigating my body, understanding the small things in my body. Like I can sit and I can feel, my sits bones, like the two bones that are like the buttocks, right? If you're into yoga, you know what the sits bones are. You can feel the two points of the bones. I can sit down on a cushion and I like this, boom. I'm off balance a little bit, right? I can feel that basically my buttocks is not evenly balanced on the cushion. And if I just said, who cares? And just meditated, I'm going to start balancing off. My back is going to be a little bit off. I'm going to start having pains. I'm going to start having all kinds of things just from that small imbalance that I just let be from the beginning of the meditation. Right? So, on the other hand, though, if you just kind of overly obsess about every little thing, then the whole half hour or hour you're going to practice is just going to be you obsessing. It's not good. So you start out doing the body scan, going from the toes up to the head, and you're observing whatever sensation arises in that part of the body. Say like the thighs. And you feel, this is the feeling of the thighs pressing against the cushion. And when my thighs are like this, is this really, is my body imbalanced because of the position of my thighs? How are my knees, right? The knees, ideally for your posture, the knees should be actually on the ground, not like up. Right, but the knees should be, and if you can't have a posture where the knees are like on the ground, so that there's a kind of like a triangle, right? Like the buttocks and then the knees, like just like that. If you can't do that, then you should at least have some kind of support under the knees. Maybe like a little cushion or something. Right? And then as you're going up, you just observe, right? If your spine is kind of bent, that's going to cause all kinds of compression and pain in the back. If the spine is kind of neutral and it's just resting comfortably right on, then actually, the back is fine. The back is not being compressed. The back is not like leaning here and there. So posture is very important for that. That's the first thing. Posture is important. That will minimize, if you have good posture, that will minimize the pain. It won't get rid of it. You'll always have pain in meditation. That's another aspect to understand. You will always have unpleasant feelings in your meditation. So for me, what it's been is trying to find a sweet spot between observing and making sure my posture is right, is like, spot on, and enduring and being okay with unpleasant feelings. So it's been finding like that sweet spot that where they meet. That's what I pretty much found it. With the setup that I have. And I tried, I did one cushion, two cushions, three cushions, side cushions. So like if you go to like meditation retreats, sometimes you'll see like people have like this fortress of cushions all around them, like cushions under their knees, cushions here, cushions there, like a fortress of cushions. And sometimes that helps, sometimes that not. And then I got to the point where I was like, these cushions, nothing's helping me. And then I was just meditating right on concrete with nothing, just meditating, right? And then, now what I do is I do have a cushion and I have it propped up and all these things. So, but anyway, I'm talking a lot about posture. There's other things, but this is what I'm trying to say. There's a balance. You always have to understand that there's going to be there's going to be pain in your sitting meditation. And so then when you're in the practice, when you're in the middle, following your breath or whatever you're doing, if the pain is really, really strong, and when you're trying to follow your breath and the pain drags you away and you go back and the pain drags you away and then you go back, let your breath go. Just focus on the pain. Really dive into that pain. Really just put all of your awareness and investigation on that pain. What is the body? What does it feel like when this pain is arising in the body? What is the mind state like when this pain is in the body? Like when you have lots of itches and you're trying to be just trying to endure it and trying to just follow your breath and there's all kinds of itches, observe what the mind feels like when that happens. When you're trying to endure not itching, for me, it becomes like a claustrophobic feeling. Like I'm being like just feeling of like closed in, of like despair, of like this unpleasant feeling. And I'm not doing anything about it. Just observing, just observing. So observe that. Make it an object of your meditation. That's the best thing to do. And then when it's too much, just mindfully change your posture. No problem. And that's what I would suggest. Don't try to run away from the pain, but also have some metta for yourself. Investigate the pain as much as possible, as much as you can endure. And when it's too much, have compassion and metta for yourself and just change your posture. Stand up, do some walking meditation, whatever is okay. Okay? Vidora one says, love how you named this Dhammapalooza. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I've always liked that, and the Magaseka community does too. I always kind of wonder how more traditional Buddhists would think about a name like that. But a palooza is like a festival. And the idea of having a 2-hour festival of Dhamma, it's named Dhammapalooza. That's the way it is. All right. John says, Twitter is often the root of my aversion. I kind of went undercover on Twitter. Like I have Bhante Jayasara Twitter, right? And everything that I post on the website, magaseka.org, goes to the Twitter. I mean, I don't think like 3 people might follow me or whatever. But like I've gone like undercover to observe like the like Twitter is a nightmare. It's just like if you're involved in any kind of political or the culture wars or anything like that in Twitter, there's very little benefit to that. It's just your mind is just going to be destroyed. Yeah, so be careful about Twitter. All right. Hello, Bella and Gautam. Welcome. Sanchez says, pressing the tongue to the root of the mouth helps me keep focus. Yeah, actually, you know what that does for me? So you put the tongue to like the back of the front teeth. What that does for me especially is it helps because I'm very, my allergies, I'm very mucusy. I always have stuff flowing, always stuff flowing all the time, especially in the morning. It's horrible. Like I've been banned from meditation halls in the morning because stuff is coming out. Right. And mostly when I meditate, when I put the tongue to the roof of my mouth, it really mitigates the amount of mucus and liquid flowing. It really is beneficial. So yeah, it's a good thing to do. I highly suggest that. Hmm? Jose, I don't know. Why is the chat so quiet? Guilt them into talking. Let's see. Let's see how many people we have. Oh, now we have 5 people watching on Facebook. So any Facebook friends, feel free to say hello in the chat. Very good. The only problem with live streaming to multiple things is the people on Facebook can't talk to the people on YouTube. So if you are watching from other places and you really want to be a part of the community, the best thing to do is to watch it on the YouTube stream, really. But I can see if you type on Facebook or on Twitch, I can see it. So, and I can put your question on the screen for anybody from all the other places to see. Rador saying, last week during Dhamma talk meditations, I started telling my mind to stop talking. And when the Venerable was talking, I tell my mind to listen. I get too many thoughts during meditation. Yeah, that's normal. That's 100% normal. And if you can tell your mind, stop talking and listen, that's good. I doubt that your mind will always listen or will listen for very long. But, if it's good to train the mind to do that. Like, you could say like, I'm listening. And then just really focus on the words, right? That's what, like in the time of the Buddha, in the suttas, you hear this is why you see like monks going like when the senior is talking and the other monks are like this. The idea is that you're supposed to be in deep samadhi and you'll really be able to hear the Dhamma. That doesn't work for me. For me, I like the best way that I really like have the talk really be immersed in me is by watching the person speak. That's how I always was at school. I would watch the person speak, the body language, everything. I would hear and I would write it down. Then I'd never read my notes again. And actually I would get good grades just because I was just so focused on observing the person teaching, observing like watching them, just putting my whole being into observing them do that. But that's me. We all, absorb things in different ways. Jose is back. Wonderful. All right. Oh, wow. So we are at the end of the chat already. It is quite quiet today. Let's see. It's 9:03. Why don't we read a sutta then? Let's read a sutta. Let's see if we can read a short one. This one's not too bad. We'll read from Majjhima Nikaya, number 11, the shorter discourse on the lion's roar. All right, we'll post it in the chat. Hopefully the link works for you all. You know what? Let me try something. I'm going to try something here. Just give me a second to set it up. Can you see? Oh, what did I do? Can you see the screen? Oh, hello, Osmantos. It's been a while. Good to see you. Can you see the screen as it's up? All right, so it seems like there's. See, the problem with this is that I can't put this in the back. Oh, yeah, I can. Okay, there we go. Very good. Okay, so now I'm seeing. You all see the screen? All right, very good. Let's read, huh? At one time, the Buddha was staying near Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's monastery. There, the Buddha addressed the mendicants. Mendicants, Venerable Sir, they replied. The Buddha said this: only here is there a true ascetic. Here a second ascetic, here a third ascetic, and here a fourth ascetic. Other sects are empty of ascetics. This is one of the few places in the suttas where you will hear the Buddha say, we're the best. Most of the time, he doesn't go too deep into these kind of things. But here he will say, this is the place where there are true awakened beings under the Buddha's dispensation. And says, this, mendicants, is how you should rightly roar your lion's roar. It's possible that wanderers who follow other paths will say, but what is the source of the Venerable self-confidence and forcefulness that they say this? You should say to them, there are 4 things explained by the Blessed One who knows and sees. The perfected one, the fully awakened Buddha. Seeing these things in ourselves, we say that only here is there a true ascetic, here a second ascetic, here a third ascetic, here a fourth ascetic. Other sects are empty of ascetic. I suspect, we'll see what the sutta says it, but I suspect this is talking about the Arya Sangha. So Sotapanna, once returner, non-returner, arahant. That's what they mean by the first, the second, the third, and the fourth. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Oh, what for? We have confidence in the teacher. We have confidence in the teaching. We have fulfilled the precepts. And we have love and affection for those who share their path. All right, maybe not. Maybe that's the 4 things. I should have read before I spoke. Huh? Let's see. It's possible that wanderers who follow other paths might say, we too have confidence in the teacher, our teacher. We have confidence in the teaching, our teaching. And we have fulfilled the precepts, our precepts. And we have love and affection for those who share our path, both lay people and renunciates. What then is the difference between you and us? You should say to them, well, reverence, is the goal one or many? Answering rightly, the wanderers would say, the goal is one, reverence, not many. But is that goal for the greedy or for those who are free from greed? Answering rightly, the wanderers would say, that goal is for those free from greed, not for the greedy. Is it for the hateful or those free of hate? It's for those free of hate. Is it for the delusional or those free of delusion? It's for those free of delusion. Let me see something. I'm not able to move the screen. Am I? No, okay, I'm not able to. It's not like Zoom. Just double checking to see if it's something I could actually move the screen while I'm doing it. Be nice, but I want to be able to see the chat and read the sutta at the same time. But I don't see, nobody said anything, so that's good. All right. It's for those free of hate. Is it for the delusional or those free of delusion? It's for those free of delusion. Is it for those who crave or those rid of craving? It's for those rid of craving. Is it for those who grasp or those who don't grasp? It's for those who don't grasp. Is it for the knowledgeable or the ignorant? It's for the knowledgeable. Is it for those who favor and oppose, or for those who don't favor and oppose? It's for those who don't favor and oppose. But is that goal for those who enjoy proliferation, or for those who enjoy non-proliferation? Answering rightly, the wanderers would say, it's for those who enjoy non-proliferation, not for those who enjoy proliferation. Mendicants, there are these two views: views favoring continued existence and views favoring ending existence. Any ascetic or Brahmin who cling, hold, and attach to views favoring continued existence will oppose the view of favoring ending existence. Any ascetic or Brahmin who clings, hold, and attach to views favoring ending existence will oppose a view favoring continued existence. There are some ascetics and Brahmins. If you want any kind of clarification as we're reading, type it in the chat. I'll keep the chat in mind, and I'll clarify as we go along. There are some ascetics and Brahmins who don't truly understand these two views. These two views: the origin, ending, gratification, drawback, and escape of the two views. They're greedy, hateful, delusional, craving, grasping, and ignorant. They favor and oppose, and they enjoy proliferation. They're not freed from rebirth, old age, and death, from sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress. They're not free from suffering, I say. There are some ascetics and Brahmins who do truly understand these two views: origin, ending, gratification, drawback, and escape. They're rid of greed, hatred, and delusion, grasping and clinging, grasping and ignorance. They don't favor and oppose, and they enjoy non-proliferation. They're free from rebirth, old age, and death, from sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress. They're free from suffering, I say. There are these four kinds of grasping. What for? Grasping for sensual pleasures, for views, for precepts and observances, and for theories of a self. Vidura has a question. So, let's see here. Okay, don't want to do that. So the mendicants here, this is the Bhante Sujata's translation of bhikkhus. So that's what we see when we see mendicants. All right, back to the reading. There are some ascetics and Brahmins who claim to propound the complete understanding of all kinds of grasping, but they don't correctly describe the complete understanding of all kinds of grasping. They describe the complete understanding of grasping at sensual pleasures, but not views, precepts, and observances, and theories of a self. Why is that? Because those gentlemen don't truly understand these three things. That's why they claim to propound the complete understanding of all kinds of grasping, but they don't really. There are some other ascetics and Brahmins who claim to propound the complete understanding of all kinds of grasping, but they don't really. They describe the complete understanding of grasping at sensual pleasures and views, but not precepts and observances and theories of a self. Why is that? Because those gentlemen don't truly understand these two things. That's why they claim to propound the complete understanding of all kinds of grasping, but they don't really. In such a teaching and training, confidence in the teacher is said to be far from ideal. Likewise, confidence in the teaching, fulfillment of the precepts, and love and affection for those sharing the same path are said to be far from ideal. Why is that? It's because that teaching and training is poorly explained and poorly propounded, not emancipating, not leading to peace, proclaimed by someone who is not fully awake, not a fully awakened Buddha. The realized one, the perfected one, a fully awakened Buddha, claims to propound the complete understanding of all kinds of grasping. He describes the complete understanding of all grasping at sensual pleasures, views, precepts, and observances and theories of the self. In such a teaching and training, confidence in the teacher is said to be ideal. Likewise, confidence in the teaching, fulfillment of the precepts, and love and affection for those sharing the same path are said to be ideal. Why is that? It's because that teaching and training is well explained and well propounded, emancipating, leading to peace, proclaimed by a fully awakened Buddha. What is the source, origin, birthplace, and inception of these four kinds of grasping? Craving. And what is the source, origin, birthplace, and inception of craving? Feeling. And what is the source of feeling? Contact. What is the source of contact? The six sense bases. What is the source of the six sense bases? Name and form. What is the source of name and form? Consciousness. What is the source of consciousness? Choices. And what is the source of choices, i.e. sankharas? Ignorance. When that mendicant has given up ignorance and given rise to knowledge, they don't grasp at sensual pleasures, views, precepts, and observances, or theories of a self. Not grasping, they're not anxious. Not being anxious, they personally become extinguished. They understand rebirth is ended, the spiritual journey has been completed. What had to be done has been done. There is no return to any state of existence. That is what the Buddha said. Satisfied, the mendicants were happy with what the Buddha said. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. All right, friends. So was everybody able to actually read the suttas? Was it big enough on the screen for you? Or did you just have to go to your browser on your computer? Oh boy, we had a significant drop. All right. Interesting. It was all right to read, all right. All right. Well, friends, I think it is time for some guided meditations. We'll do our meditation and then we'll have some time a little bit after for closing up. Well, this is the concept of roaring the lion's roar. Buddha says somebody is confident in roaring their lion's roar in the assemblies. Roaring the lion's roar of the good Dhamma. Those of you who are on the Discord, you see that I post almost every day the Maggaseka way of living, which is really the best, the Buddha's way of living. The four things. First is live like the mountains are closing in. Second is practice like your head's on fire. Third, raise high the banner of seers, for the Dhamma is the banner of seers. To have the Dhamma high in your life and to live the Dhamma, to have it be a part of who you are. And then fourth is to roar your lion's roar. Roar your lion's roar in the assembly. your confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, your confidence in the path, and share the Dhamma. Obviously, in skillful ways, not being a sectarian and trying to beat people. There's one thing to proclaim, but we see also in many places that the Buddha says that one should not be engaging in battles, trying to beat the other person. So this is the Buddha's attitude of how to live these ways. All right, so let's do our meditation. Okay, friends. So set up your body in whatever posture works for you. All right, Julie. Yes, your first Dhammapalooza. Well, welcome. I'm glad you had your first Dhammapalooza. On the first day, we did our interesting live, our new live stream. Monday nights, 8 p.m. At least for the next month or so, we should be doing every Monday. Sometimes when I'm traveling, we don't do it. But for now, Monday nights, 8 p.m. So it's thank you for coming, and we'll see you again. So, friends, put yourself in your posture. We'll do very briefly some scanning through the body, starting with the toes. Bring your awareness to your feet. By that, I mean bring attention to whatever sensation arises. This is also a good practice in addition to observing your posture and practicing mindfulness of the body. It's also a good practice to help your mind gradually move from the external to the internal. It can be hard to just instantly go to following your breath. The body is more gross an object to investigate first, and then you move internally, more subtle, to the breath. Bring your awareness up through your ankles into your calves. Up through the knees to the thighs. What is the feeling of the thighs pressing against the chair, the couch, the cushion? And your awareness to your hips and pelvis. Pay special attention to the position of the pelvis and how that impacts both the posture of the legs and also the posture of the spine. Bring your awareness up the spine through the abdomen and the chest. To your shoulders, check to make sure they're hanging loosely, not scrunched up and tight. Down through your elbows and hands. Observe how the position of the elbows and hands impacts your spine, your posture of your upper body. And then finally up to your head. Check to make sure that the head is not leaning side to side, back and forth. The chin is parallel to the floor. When you're done setting up your body in a comfortable and stable position, let the body go and take 3 deep breaths. And then let the breath go. From here on in, try not to manipulate or control the breath in any way. Body has been breathing from the moment you were born and will continue to do so until the second you die. It doesn't need you to do its job. Your job is to simply observe, investigate, and abide with the breath as this body breathes in, this body breathes out. As you're following your breath, your mind will become distracted. Your mind will become bored, leave the breath, going to the past or the future, across the world or the galaxy, or a distraction from the outside, like the sounds of lawnmowers will come. And your mind will attach to it. Whenever this happens, just first understand that this is normal. You didn't fail as a meditator or do anything wrong. This is simply the mind showing you how it works, showing you its craving. Whenever you get distracted away, there'll be a time where it will slowly start to dawn on you. Your mindfulness will slowly start to build that you will have left the breath. Acknowledge that you have been taken away from the breath. Come back to full mindfulness. And then practice letting go of the breath. By letting go, this means not to get agitated and try to push the distraction away, nor by getting excited and attached to it and grasping it. Simply by giving it no energy, letting it be, letting it go on its way. And then return to the breath. Whenever you're distracted away, acknowledge, let go, and return over and over. Acknowledge, let go, and return. For the remainder of the meditation, we'll shift gears a little bit. Let go of the breath and just come to a full body awareness. Don't try to focus on any one thing. Just observe and watch. When doing this, usually something will come prominently to your awareness. Whatever that thing is that comes most prominently to your awareness, that is your object of investigation. Oftentimes, when you're not focusing on one thing, you might start to really notice lots of itching. Or maybe a pain arises and takes you away from your breath. If you keep getting taken away from your breath, you can do this, focusing in on whatever that issue is happening in the body, using that as your object of meditation. So, whatever comes most prominently into your field of experience, investigate that deeply, like you would the breath. What does it feel like in the body? What is the general tone of the mind while experiencing this phenomenon? What thoughts arise? Notice how they are connected to what you're experiencing. Thoughts about itching, thoughts about the pain, narratives that are arising in your mind. And observe impulses that arise, strong feelings to scratch the itch, adjust your posture to alleviate the pain, etc. Whatever arises, try to observe with these four things: the body, mind, thoughts, and impulses. The feeling, sensations of the body during the experience, the tone of the mind, the thoughts that arise, and impulses. Apply this FMTI to whatever arises most prominently in your awareness for the rest of the meditation. Slowly start to come out of the meditation, opening your eyes, becoming aware of the room around you, the live stream, your friends in the chats. We have about 10 minutes before we close out. I think what we can do is let's read some verses of Dhammapada. That's typically what we do when we have a few minutes at the end. I think we last left out on the mind. Acharya Buddharakita. All right. So much nicer when I can share the screen. I can get used to this. The mind, just as a fletcher straightens an arrow shaft, even so the discerning man straightens his mind, so fickle and unsteady, so difficult to guard. If you ever seen somebody do an arrow shaft, there's usually like a stick. It's usually like, and so they have to like put it through a press, maybe use a knife, and so it's gradually making it into this very sleek, straight arrow. And they look just to see us, make sure, right? So that's what we are doing with the mind. That's what this is saying. So fickle and unsteady, so difficult to guard. We're going to straighten it up like a fletcher straightens an arrow shaft. As a fish when pulled out of water and cast on land throbs and quivers. You've seen that. They're bouncing all around like that. Even so is the mind agitated. Hence, one should abandon the realm of Mara. That's the sense realm. Getting infatuated with pleasant experience of the six senses. Wonderful indeed it is to subdue the mind, so difficult to subdue, ever swift, and seizing whatever it desires. A tamed mind brings happiness. Let the discerning man guard the mind, so difficult to detect and extremely subtle, seizing whatever it desires. A guarded mind brings happiness. Dwelling in the cave of the heart, the mind without form wanders far and alone. Those who subdue this mind are liberated from the bonds of Mara. Wisdom never becomes perfect in one whose mind is not steadfast, who knows not the good teaching, and whose faith wavers. This is not somebody who can roar their lion's roar. There is no fear for an awakened one, whose mind is not sodden by lust, nor afflicted by hate, and who has gone beyond both merit and demerit. realizing that this body is as fragile as a clay pot, and fortifying this mind like a well-fortified city. Fight out Mara with the sword of wisdom. Then, guarding the conquest, remain unattached. Ere long, alas, this body will lie upon the earth, unheeded and lifeless, like a useless log. This is why my favorite translation of the Dhammapada is Acharya Buddharakkhita. Not only is it widely understood to be one of the most accurate and best translations, sometimes you get a little Shakespeare. Ere long, alas. Whatever harm an enemy may do to an enemy, or a hater to a hater, an ill-directed mind inflicts on oneself greater harm. So no matter what your enemy can do to you, your mind causes you more harm. Neither mother, father, nor any other relative can do one greater good than one's own well-directed mind. All right, friends. So we come to the end of another Dhammapalooza. We'll do our sharing of merits, but first we'll do some business. So if you are not, you can go to www.muggaseka.org, and you can, on the right, you can subscribe, so that all that means it's not a big thing. You just literally put your email, and when the website is updated, then you get an email when I post something new. That's all that means. Nothing else. Muggaseka.org is the website. If you follow on YouTube, please do the subscription and the bell, so anytime I go live, you'll get a notification. Or anytime I upload a video, like every Wednesday I upload an Ask a Bhante. I am running short on questions, so if you have any questions, that you can look at my playlist of Ask a Bhante, and if there's any questions that I haven't answered recently that you'd like me to answer, a question of your own or a question you think will be beneficial for others, even if it's a basic question, no problem. Just submit that question either in the chat of one of the questions, or you can email me, and then I'll answer those questions. And then I guess that's about it. If you are possibly interested in joining our Discord community, which is a community that practices and studies by the early text, the suttas, the Nikayas, then you can send an email to this email, muggaseka@gmail.com, and request an invite, and we'll send you an invite. I think that's about it, friends. So let's do our sharing of merit. And I think for next week, I'll put up a document so that I can put the sharing of merit up for you guys to all see as well. Dukkha patta chani dukkha, bhaya patta chani bhaya, soka patta chani soka, hantu sabbe pipaniyo, ettavatta cha mehi sampatang punya sampatang, sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya, akasata jabumata deva naga mahiddhika, punyang tang anumoditva charang rakantu sasanang. May the suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear-struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit of ours for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas, yakas, and nagas of mighty power, share in this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddhist dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. All right, friends. That ends our Dhammapalooza. I'll see you in the Discord or on live stream next week. Until next time, Suki Hotu, may you be happy, practice well, and be well. May you have a spiritually successful and peaceful time until we meet again. Good night.